Paul and Ruth, who look after the eco camp. Paul obviously is a motorcyclist, and he's very kindly today said he'll come out with us for a bit. We've got routes to do. I've got a route here to do, but he's going to show us a quick way to get to certain places. He wanted to have a little ride with us, so it'd be good to get a little bit of local knowledge. And it is looking like a hell of a day at the moment. So he lost. Okay, Charlie's left his gloves behind. So yeah, a little bit of a later start than we were hoping for, but we had a lovely breakfast, had a chat with Paul. Actually, the loop we've got today isn't too long, and the good thing we're coming out with Paul is that if we need to get from one place to the other and cut some of the route out, we can do. So this gives us an opportunity to see the best of the area whilst we've got the weather window. And it's nice to be riding without the waterproofs on, although I must admit they were very comfortable. But you get to see the full glory of the Revit Off-Track 2 jacket, which has proven to be very comfortable indeed. So we've just gone around the outskirts of Clonmel, and we're now heading to Fethard. It's spelled Fethard, but Fethard I think it is pronounced. Clonmel's nice little town. Plenty going on there, and so far so good with the weather. So we're in Fethard. McCarthy's Bar, which I talked about, I think, if I haven't talked about it, is just down the road, which is an unusual place because it's a bar, restaurant and undertakers. My friend Koji said it's the only place you know where they can get drunk, fed and buried. This is where we're heading. I'm not sure how long we'll be in there, but well, let's go and have a look.
We'll have a nose.
Pretty cool stuff actually in here. Really interesting.
I highly recommend going for a walk around you can like climb up the wall over there.
Okay.
And then you can also go around and see it from the other side. We have
Yeah.
all our shields up at the moment. So the walls were built in the 1200s, and it's the best medieval town wall of a small town in Ireland.
Alright.
We have 90% remaining of our wall. And then this church dates back from about 900 years ago as well. So you can see the old medieval ruins over there. And it was the St. John Hospitaliers that set it up. And so it was originally a hospital and then a church. And so in this area, I don't know if you're familiar with much of thoroughbred racing, but a huge concentration of winners of these races comes from this area.
Right. So it's referred to as horse country, I guess.
Yeah, so we call it horse country, and there's a lot of stud farms around. The biggest one being Coolmore Stud, which is owned by the Magner family, and then everyone here has a racehorse pretty much in their back garden. It brings together the history of the area in the archaeology and the land, and then it ropes in like agriculture and the equine industry and how the horse has been part of our history from the year dot. This is Kiltynan Castle. This is Andrew Lloyd Webber's house, the composer. He has a stud farm just up the road here, and so there's a Sheila gig on the wall of his castle, and it'll just zoom into it now and you'll see it in a minute. And then there's two in town that you can visit. There it is, just there you see it.
And then the Sheila and the gig, the sort of the image of the woman is up here on the wall there. You can see. You can probably just point it out in the middle there. So there we go, that's the last remaining medieval gate, the North Gate. We're on a road here that takes us to the Rock of Cashel, or Cashel, It's meant to be very spectacular, so hopefully this sunshine continues. There in front is the Rock of Cashel. Rock of Cashel. Unfortunately, the wind picked up whilst we were there and my little drone was struggling, so I abandoned that idea. We also didn't want to kind of drop all of our stuff off and wander around and do the whole tourist thing, so I've nabbed some footage from elsewhere to give you a little bit of history. Originally, this was the seat of the kings of Munster, and according to legend, St Patrick came here to convert King Angus to Christianity. Brian Boru was crowned High King at Cashel in 978 and made it his capital, and then in 1101 the site was granted to the church, and it quickly rose to prominence as one of the most significant centres of ecclesiastical power in Ireland. The surviving buildings are a remarkable record of Cashel's history. For example, Cormac's Chapel contains the only surviving Romanesque frescoes in Ireland. The Rock of Cashel is one of Ireland's most spectacular and most visited tourist attractions. Charlie took the opportunity to make a new friend whilst he was here as well. So now we've come through the corner of Tipperary and we're now getting up into the more scenic stuff. Oh, look at that. Beautiful piece of mountain road. And as you know from previous videos, I absolutely love riding through forests. Makes you feel alive. That doesn't sound too corny. Lots of places to explore in this region. So instead of having to do, you know, banging out hundreds and hundreds of miles each day, you want to see some of the local stuff, you want to meet the local people and do a bit of this in between, and this is just a great place to do that. So we have stopped in Care for lunch, and it looks like we've let the sunshine go past, so hopefully we're going over that way. We're just getting our first bit of rain for the day, but it's a bit unfortunate because I haven't got my waterproof over the top of this jacket. I've got mesh gloves on and I've got nothing on my legs, so hopefully we're not going to stay in this for too long. We're going to head now up to the Vee, which is a bit more scenic. Hopefully it's drier up there. We're turning in the right direction away from that rain. Rain in the distance there, rain over there, rain over there, and the clouds are saying sod you to whatever that place is there. So busy was I concentrating on my 360 camera that I was completely oblivious to what was going on behind me. This was our first and only mishap of the trip. The camber on that little cut on the side had completely fooled Paul, and he had nowhere to put his foot, and toppled over and took Charlie with him in the domino effect as well. Thankfully, nobody was injured, nothing was damaged. We got the bikes back up and carried on our journey. So that was the Vee, and now we've just got another beautiful road. There's just so many nice roads. That's obviously a well-known scenic spot, but to come around the back of it across these moors, the only thing you've got to watch out for are the sheep. Just look at this scenery, it's just lovely. How's that for a view, folks? Well, there you go, that's Wednesday's riding done and dusted back here at the Nire Valley Eco Camp. Beautiful day's riding. The weather was really good today. We had a little shower of rain after lunch, but other than that, we had blue skies. It ranged from 15 degrees C this morning up to around 18 degrees this afternoon, so perfect weather for riding in. Beautiful roads. That last road down from the Vee that we took to get back was just probably the best one of the day. We haven't talked much about the bikes, it's not really about that, but the Africa Twin, I know this is just an ideal bike for this sort of thing. Charlie's been riding the Transalp. He's had an opportunity to get to grips with the bike, so it'd be interesting to find out what he likes or what he doesn't like, so maybe we'll add that in. I've got SW Motec kit on the bike. I've gone back to using the assist bags for this trip because I can get those nice and thin so that they don't stick out too far on the bike. I've packed pretty light, and I've got the new Dusk top box, but it's actually a side case that can be used as a top box. I've got all of the recording stuff in there that I need. Not only is it lighter than the aluminium version, but the aluminium version is like a cube. This is kind of wider and a little bit lower, so I think it's got a really nice profile. But I will put together a review of that in a later stage when I can look at it in more detail. But again, I'm using it for the first time on this trip to test it, and it's been absolutely brilliant. So it's goodbye to this view, goodbye to the Nire Valley Eco Camp. Had a wonderful stay here, and it's a beautiful day, so we're going to get out and get some mileage done. We're going to go and find the waterfalls, Mahon Falls, which should be a lovely ride, and then we may go to the beach if the weather stays like this. So yeah, if you're in this part of the world, definitely recommend this place. What a fantastic place to stay in and get away from it all. Really, really good. And so I woke up this morning, looked out the window, watched the deer in the field, the rabbits were running around. The sun is out today, much better weather than was originally forecast. So we're going to head back up into the mountains to a spot for a view. Charlie needs to get a couple of bits in Clonmel, so we're going to go down there and then off to the Mahon Falls, and then from there we'll work out whether we want to go back down to the coast. Is it sunny? You might go get some fish and chips, who knows, but the day is ours to do with as we please, and it looks like it's going to be a good one for it as well. So actually, whilst we're here, and you're otherwise engaged, although it is a very scenic place to stop to do your straps up, I must admit. I was going to ask you your thoughts on the Transalp.
I have to say, when you look at the Transalp, the first thing you do is go, it doesn't fill my heart with desire. And then you ride it for a while, and you realise what an extraordinary tool it is. And as a touring bike, it handles motorway and dual carriageway brilliantly. It does these A roads fantastically. It's not going to be everything to all people. Some people aren't going to like it because it's not an Africa Twin, and it's not a GS, and it's not this. It's light, it's flickable, it's fun. According to Paul, who was riding behind me yesterday, the engine note is fantastic. It's absolutely brilliant. It's a fun bike. I'm pretty certain that I shall be getting one.
I know you said there are a couple of bits on it that it could do with having that it doesn't have.
They brought it in at a price point which they've decided, which is obviously 9,499, and to do that, they've put nothing on it. The basic bike at 9.5 is wonderful, but you're going to be spending money on extras if you want this bike to do all the things that you want it to do.
I think that's part of the ethos from Honda on it, from talking to them. They've built that bike to do the things that most people need it to do, and then you've got the flexibility to add on the bits that you want. And in terms of the riding, we've been riding these together. We've had probably pretty much the same experience. Yours is obviously a bit smaller and a little bit lighter, but it's got a nice presence. It looks nice on the road as well. I've had it in my mirrors, and especially with those spot lamps on, you know, it's got a nice look about it on the road.
You know, it's a fantastic bike, and also, it's like, as I get older, I want ease of use. I want to get on something and I want to ride it. I don't want to worry about the fact that I might drop it in the garage, you know, and it has this wonderful lightness. I think it's something like 203 kilos with nothing on it. I've got a 32 inside leg. I like to be nearly flat on the floor. It does that without any adjustment, you know. So again, you're feeling a little bit safer. There's nothing worse than being worried on a bike. You're not going to be enjoying yourself if you're afraid.
Mick Exton's on the, we took the Pan Americas off-road, big heavy bike, and I was a little bit nervous about that. And his mantra was, we're on an adventure. If you crash trying to be an off-road hero and we don't get to where we're going, that's a really shitty adventure.
Exactly. They thought the Honda experience. He said basically, the more comfortable you are on a bike, the more adventurous things you're likely to do. I think it's a great bike. I think it covers all the things. Does it excite me to look at? Possibly not. It's growing on me. A big thumbs up from me, as they use on the old film review programs. I love it, and I'm loving it more every day.
Cool, thank you, Charlie. Right, so we're heading into Clonmel now. You're going to do some shopping. I'll follow you because I've no idea where we're going. So we're out of Clonmel now. Charlie's got what he needed. We're heading back up into the hills. We're heading to Mahon Falls, and then from there we're going to drop down to where we're staying tonight. I've already said I love riding through forests, and this is pushing all my buttons. Right, this is lovely. Look at that road going up there. I saw him. Oh wow, this is fantastic. And there are the waterfalls there, dead ahead. Just see them in the distance. Oh, a lovely piece of rugged landscape this is. So this behind me is Mahon Falls. It was a bit of a trek up some country roads to get here, but boy was it worth it. What a beautiful spot. So you've got a walk you can go to get down to the falls, and then if you look behind me you can see the sea over my shoulder there, which I think is Dungarvan. Definitely, if you're in the neck of the woods, it's worth the trip up here. Absolutely beautiful. Oh, you bugger. Here we are, Comeragh Pods. And look at that, the gate is opening for us. As if by magic. Oh, this looks like a cool little place. Hello. How you doing? I'm Tony.
Nice to meet you.
How you doing?
Tony, is it?
Tony, yeah. Tony and Charlie.
Well, you've the place yourselves today because it's midweek and it's quite this time of year, midweek.
Okay. Yeah.
So weekends are fully booked.
So this is Comeragh Pods. So called because it's in Comeragh and they're pods. 6 pods in total. There's 4 up here. 2 here. You've also got a jacuzzi up the top of the hill there and a sauna, which is what that weird kind of tube looking thing is. You're right next to the River Tay and you've got the hills that we've just been riding around in the background. Let's go and say hello to Charlie. Charlie's chilling out on his pod. What do you think of your pod, Charlie?
I love my pod. As you can see, I travel lightly.
It's a little self-contained unit. You've got locked gates with a code to get in and out. Plenty of parking. And this is a communal space. So you've all got individual pods which can sleep. It's got a double bed and a double, if you're friendly enough, you could sleep 4 people in it. But then you've got this communal space, which is somewhere nice to hang out. There's barbecue bits and pieces, books and games and whatever it is you want to use. So if it is horrible weather out there and you're out here on a trip, you can all get together in here. And a bit like a student flat, each pod gets a space in the fridge and the freezer. There's a washing machine. You can put all the dry goods in here if you need that. If you've run out of anything, you need some extra bits, you can take those from here, and you've got an honesty box just to cover that off. Cookers, everything's in here. That's an interesting setup. And that's the board where you book your slot for the jacuzzi. Also got little gas fires here, so you can sit out in the evening with the fire on. Plenty of picnic space. It's in a beautiful spot, absolutely beautiful spot. So each one is set away. You kind of got your privacy. They've all got Wi-Fi, they've all got a TV. And then if we open the gate here, we can get down by the river. And if you're really looking for a cool place to sit down and chill out, look at this. So as you can see, this is a bit of a different vibe to the Nire Valley. That's a little bit more back to nature. This is a bit more sort of glamping, I suppose. So it depends on what you want. Both of them really good choices. Both of them really good areas to tour from as well, I think. Paudie, who runs it, Paudie and Tracy, Paudie was saying that they do have people, families that come and book all 6 pods and just have the place for themselves. And a little self-contained oasis. So yeah, Comeragh Pods. I'll put all the details in the description down below for all of these places. So after that look around, I think me and Charlie are going to get ourselves sorted out, and then we're going to head up and jump in a hot tub with a beer and have a little chat about how the week has gone. This is a fitting end to what has been a really good week. Tomorrow morning we're just going to get up early, we've got to get to the ferry. You've seen us getting on and off the ferry. There's no point in doing all of that. And then Charlie's got a short ride home, I've got a long ride home, so I thought this was the perfect place to finish the week and just share some thoughts on what we've been up to. How have you found the week?
It's been extraordinary, and you know, people talk about the weather in Ireland. I think on the first day we rode for 7 hours, and for about 40 minutes.
Yep.
It absolutely lashed. But the rest of the week has been amazing. I mean, look, we're sitting out in the sun. It's whatever time it is.
Yeah,
in the jacuzzi.
7 o'clock in the evening,
7
something
o'clock
like that.
in the evening in September. It's absolutely fantastic.
People have been lovely. We've been really well looked after in the
We
places
have.
that we've stayed. Hospitality is fantastic.
They gave us beer.
They gave us beer, which is what we're drinking now. We've saved that to the end of the trip.
It's been perfect. I think I kind of really enjoyed the quiet and the serenity of Nire Valley with the deer in the field with you and all that kind of stuff. But you know, you can't beat a jacuzzi and a beer.
No. With that view, we've just got the mountains over top. Mahon Falls that we went to over earlier is just in the background there. So, to a successful week.
Fantastic week. Thank you, Tony, for inviting me.
Thank you for coming along.
Absolutely.
And if you're looking for a really lovely place to go and explore, ride bikes in beautiful countryside, meet nice people, eat nice food, stay in nice places, then Munster Vales is definitely somewhere you should have on your destination list. Cheers.
Cheers.